Your daughter sounds out the last line of her bedtime story, closes the book, and reads the final page all by herself. You smile? She has it now. So, quietly, story time slips away. So here is the real question. The day your child can finally read alone, why would that be the very moment to keep reading aloud together? Think back to the last time you tried, because what happens on that shared page has a quiet name. Let's call it the story bridge. When a child can already read, reading aloud stops being a lesson in letters. It quietly becomes a bridge straight into the world they are starting to close off. In 2016, a Scholastic and YouGov survey found something quiet but striking. Once kids learn to read on their own, reading aloud together drops off sharply after age 6. And here's what surprised the researchers. The very same children, ages 6 to 11, called reading together their special time with you. And so did their parents, both of them fun and close. The children said something telling. Reading aloud let them meet books they would never have picked up alone. The grown-up voice carried them somewhere their own reading could not yet reach. Picture the preteen who answers your questions in single words and shrugs. Now picture that same child leaning in at the end of a chapter, asking you to please read one more page. That is the story bridge working. In one quiet activity, two things grow at once: their reading mind and the connection between you. You rarely get both from a single moment. And the mind part is measurable. Literacy research has found that reading aloud with older children supports vocabulary, listening, and comprehension, and has even been linked to stronger test scores. So the bridge carries weight both ways. It feeds the growing brain and keeps the door open to a child who is slowly learning to need you less. And it is so easy to lose. No one tells you to keep going. The drop-off is silent. It happens one busy week at a time until the books stay closed. But this bridge is forgiving. It does not need a perfect routine, just a little nurturing. So let's walk through 5 simple ways to keep it standing for years. Here is what comes next. 5 small shifts, each one something you can try the very next quiet evening. Take turns reading, let them choose, travel through pages, and open the hard conversations. Here's what neuroscience quietly loves. Chapter 1, the word bridge. The first shift is simple. Take turns. You read a paragraph, then they read one. When you read a hard word with ease, you are quietly showing them how it sounds before they ever stumble. Here is why it works. A child can read a word on the page and still have no idea how to say it. Your voice fills that gap, turning silent shapes into real spoken language. Keep it light. Try saying, "I'll read this page, you read the next one, and we'll trade." No pressure, no quiz at the end, just 2 voices taking turns through one good story. And resist the urge to test them. The moment it feels like homework, the bridge gets heavy. Protect the joy, and the skill will quietly follow on its own. One easy place to start: pull an old favorite chapter book from your own childhood off the shelf. Read it together and let yourself laugh out loud at the parts you still remember. Do this a few nights a week and something compounds. The child who hears words read well reads more on their own. The voice you lend them slowly becomes their own. Chapter 2, a door into their world. The second shift hands them the wheel. Let your child pick the book, even if it is not what you would choose. When they choose, you get to step into the world they are already living in. This matters most with a distant preteen. Their book choice is a window into what they care about right now. You learn who they are becoming without a single direct question. So next time, hand them the choice. Try, you pick the next one and I'll read it with you. Then read their pick with a real interest, not the polite patience of a chore. If these small, gentle shifts are landing for you, take a second to subscribe. It is a quiet way to keep calm parenting ideas like these close for whenever you need them. There is a quiet bonus here too. Reading together can shift the whole mood of an evening. A loud, scattered house can settle into something softer just by opening one shared book. And when you meet a child inside a story they love, you connect on their level. You are not the parent quizzing them. You are simply a person they are sharing something good with. Chapter 3: Worlds They Wouldn't Pick. The third shift is yours to lead. Sometimes you pick a classic, a slice of history, a true story they would scroll right past on their own. Reading aloud lets them try it on safely. Try tying a book to real life, a story set where you are going on vacation, or one about your own town's history. Suddenly the pages in the world outside start talking to each other. Books read together become part of your family's own story. Years from now, you will both remember the night you finished that one chapter, the same way you remember a real trip you took. This is the habit that outlasts the others. Long after they have moved out, you can still read the same book apart, then call to talk about it. The bridge holds across any distance. You do not need a grand plan. Just open one new book tonight and read a single chapter. The horizon widens one page at a time, gently, without anyone forcing it. Chapter 4: The Hard Conversations. The fourth shift is the gentlest. When something big is happening in your child's life, skip the lecture. Instead, find a gripping story where a character quietly wrestles with the very same thing. A story does what advice cannot. It lets a child watch a character struggle and face the consequences. From a safe distance, no defenses go up because no one is being told what to do. Afterward, keep it open and easy. You might just ask, "What do you think she should have done?" Then listen. Their answer often tells you what they are quietly working through themselves. And sometimes the right book opens both of your hearts at once. A story like Wonder can soften a hard week and quietly remind you both how to be a little kinder. You do not have to spell out the moral. Trust the story to do its work. The lesson lands more deeply when a child feels it for themselves, instead of hearing you name it. Over time, these shared stories build something solid. With a teen who has gone quiet, a book can be the easiest, safest place to keep understanding each other, one chapter at a time. Now here's what most parents never learn. Chapter 5: Keep it easy. The fifth shift protects all the others. Lower the bar. This does not need to be nightly or long or perfect. A few short chapters a week is more than enough to keep the bridge standing. Here is the quiet truth. A small habit you actually keep will always beat a grand one you abandoned by Wednesday. Easy and repeated is what makes a thing last for years. It can ride along with what you already do. A chapter over breakfast, a few pages in the car, one short story before lights out. Reading fits into the cracks of an ordinary day. Reading aloud to an older child has become a bit of a lost art, but with just a little nurturing, it can quietly turn into something your whole family treasures for a lifetime. So tonight, find one book and one chair, sit beside your reader, and simply begin. That is the whole secret. You just have to start. So go back to that moment. Your child closes the book, having read the last page alone. That is not the end of story time. It is the moment it gets to become something more. So why keep reading aloud the moment they can read alone? Because once the lesson is done, the story stops being about words. It quietly becomes the bridge that keeps you close. You do not need to read perfectly or every night. You just need to keep showing up with the book, because good enough is enough. If this helped, subscribe and share it with one tired parent who needs it tonight.